So like, just where do I get started? As in, where do I get started? Again, like, choose something you want to do. If you if you want to actually make a custom shader, right? In Unity in particular, right? Literally, you're just gonna right-click, create. Actually, let's try to keep this a little bit organized. I'm not trying to get this more messy. I'm gonna have a day to do spring cleaning on this project. But yeah, you're just gonna right-click, create new shader. You could either do standard shader, surface shader if you're trying to do something on a material, on a physical object. Unlit shader if you don't need lighting. Either or, depending on what you're trying to do. And then you go into there and you can affect two. Typically, when it comes to shader, you're gonna be affecting two things in particular, right? You're probably gonna be either doing a fragment, like doing logic within the fragment function or within a vec function, right? All right, Marco. What are those two things you're doing? What's fragment? What's fragment? What's vert? What's surface? I'll just give you a little. Just talk about it, right? So like, we'll talk about it for a second, right? So like, when you think about any kind of model in any game engine, right? Pixel. And forgive me if this is something you already know. But we're just start there. We're gonna start here, right? So when you think about any geometry in any game that you play, right? They can usually all be boiled down to triangles, right? Regardless of what kind of model you're looking at, whether it be Commander Shepard, or whether it be, I don't know, even a 2D character, right? You know, they're gonna have some kind of mesh or a mesh that's being rendered, right? And that mesh is always gonna be broken down into triangles, right? Now, cool, we have, you know, you've seen wireframes before, right? If I go into Unity, right, going back into our scene here, shop. And then, can I change the view? One second, guys. Wireframe. You'll notice that all the geometry is going to be broken down to triangles, right? That's cool, but then, you know, how your GPU is doing some magic, right? We have triangles, right? But then how do we convert those triangles into, like, textures, right? Like an image that has textures, that has lightings, that receives shadows, right? There's a whole pipeline that goes on, right? Where your GPU goes through different stages. The two easy ones to think about are your fragment, your frag, and your vert, right? And usually they're in a different order. Usually it's a vert and then frag, right? Frag, or vert, as you might understand, manipulates the vertices, right? So any logic that happens, and you can think about it, it's literally going to be a function in your GLSO code, right? Within your GLSO code, you're going to have yourself. Okay, this is a surface shader. Let me go into one of my. Let's go to shield. I think I have try shield shader here. Yeah. So you're gonna have this method right here. Oh, geez. Okay. For right now, when you see surf, just think that surf is the same thing as a fragment shader. Just think that these two are the same thing, right? So we have this method here called vert that manipulates the actual vertices, right? So if we want to, we can make these vertices wobble around like so and oscillate and create some cool effect. If you look at our vines, Crimson Vine Wave. Nope, that's something else. Let me see. Do I have this here? All right, let's see if I can get a level that has this vines. Okay, 1 second. Do I not have? Okay, let's actually make this. Pardon me. I wasn't prepared to give a quick lesson on this. We're going to game manager. We're going into this script. We're gonna set instant death to true. If I'm not mistaken. Instant kill mode. Yeah, we're gonna make you true. I should probably make you a serialized field, but whatever. So we're gonna make that true, and let's also check to make sure we have assets with the vines on them, right? Game progression. Dungeon settings. Follow forest. Okay, very nice. Alright, spikes target. Yes. Spikes a zig. Yeah. Alright, cool. I probably could have pulled up some progress MP4 I had somewhere, but this is where we're at right now. So, cool. We have... So, you see these vines, right? You see how they're all wobbling a little bit? So yeah, that wobble effect, right? And if you want to even look at this more precisely, look at the wireframe. Do you notice how the actual vertices are moving? That's something that's not happening in the CPU. That's happening within your GPU, within this vertice method, within this vert method, right? If I were to click on this material, on this object, and go to what's rendering the actual material, and click on it, you're gonna see over here, I'm gonna have a vert method, and in here I'm doing all this calculation to create this wobbling effect using a sine wave, right? It looks complicated, it really is not that complicated. I just like naming things really obtusely, right? So yeah, this is the vert method, right? This is the kind of the beauty of it, right? You can create these cool little manipulations on the vertice. You can use it for that. You can make it, you know, use it to make something object shrink or get enlarged. You can do a bunch of stuff like that, right? So the vert method is really, really cool. A lot of applications. The frag method / the surface method is responsible for something different. So the vert method is responsible for the vertices. The frag, or the fragment shader / surface shader, is responsible for the actual color that gets rendered, right? You can imagine like this is being ran on every single pixel that's gonna be rendered on that triangle, right? It goes to every single triangle, it renders this, and it goes to every single pixel that's gonna be rendered on that triangle. It runs this fragment method, and this fragment method is gonna give you the final color of the pixel, right? If I go into my surface here, you'll notice that at the very end, I end up setting some kind of color, right? O.emission equals this, right? O.albedo equals this, metallic equals that, right? When you see albedo, just think color, right? So in your surface shader, you're typically setting those values there, right? If you go to an actual fragment shader, it's gonna be explicitly returning a color value back to you. So here's there you can use the fragment shader. You can use it for a bunch of different stuff, right? You can use it to make the texture scroll around, right? You can use it to change the colors on the textures. Let's say if you want to bind it to like 1 or 0 or black or white. In my case, if you look at this, we're gonna go this back to shaded. Do you notice how there's these highlights that are moving over it? That's being done in the fragment shader or in the surface shader, right? If you click on here, you notice there's two textures. One that has the image that we have, right, the base, but another one with this white noise on it, right? Yeah, it's noise. It's literally noise, right? And in that fragment shader, we're just using that to add extra highlight to the base color and then scroll it through. So that's like at a very high level what these two methods are doing. There's more types of methods you can look into for that for the pipeline. There's you know, other stages like a geometry pass that you can use for a lot of cool particle stuff if you want to. But even just using these two, you can do so much with it. In Unity, they give you some basic boilerplates. So like in this case, this new surface shader, it gives you a bunch of stuff out the box. It gives you color, main texture, metallic, whatever, right? Defines a bunch of stuff, and then it gives you a surface shader, right? So here you can do whatever magic you want to, right? If I want to add another texture and do that scrolling thing, looks like clouded noise. Yeah, I painted that on particularly because I wanted a specific look. But yeah, out the box, Unity is going to give you this template. If you want to modify it, you can, you know, change what happens here in the pipeline. So you have a surf and then establish a vertex. I believe vertex vert, yeah. And this is me and telling the shader, yo, we're gonna add this other stage to it. We're gonna have the surface, and then we're also gonna run the vertex. And then you can just do your thing here. For me, because I already have a bunch of stuff, like a bunch of shaders, a lot of times I end up copying and pasting a lot of it because if I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't remember the actual syntax for shaders. And then you can do your thing here for your vert. So hopefully this gave you a basic idea of how to start dealing with this stuff. I haven't talked about actually how to like create a material with it, but I'm assuming since you're already doing like it seems like you're already doing stuff, you're probably aware of how to, you know, attach, make a new material that uses the shader. If not, it's very simple. It's a very simple process. But yeah, this is like the basics like of getting into it, right? It's we talked about it very quickly and very condensedly, but maybe not that condensedly. I wasn't really prepared. But hopefully this gives you an idea of where you can start manipulating stuff directly. And you know, the applications of it, from the shield thing we have here to the foliage here, even these trees moving, that's a shader thing I'm doing. This is a shader thing. Shaders are awesome. Yeah, shaders are fantastic. It gives a nice touch, it's a very easy way to add life to things. And you know, and it's actually pretty simple. And I love writing shader stuff because like you can directly manipulate this stuff in real time, and it's gonna recompile and just work with it. It's not like normal CPU code where if you make a change, you have to stop the game and then recompile it and run it. It's very nice. It's very, very nice. So that's your intro course.